Welcome to layer 3 of the ultimate hoax Iceberg, made by KWeb. If you saw one of the previous videos, then you know what we expect. If you didn't, that's fine. You can find out while enjoying this video, and then watch the other ones. In August 1835, the New York Sun published a sensational 6-part series claiming that Sir John Herschel had discovered life on the moon. Written by the fictitious Dr. Andrew Grant, the articles described strange lunar creatures, including bipedal winged being and various animals resembling Earth's fauna. The hoax drew on contemporary excitement about astronomy and cleverly mimicked scientific writing. As the story spread, skepticism grew, especially after the New York Evening Post suggested the reports were false. Eventually the hoax was exposed, revealing the true author, journalist Richard Adams Locke. On December 13, 2006, Belgian public TV station RTBF interrupted regular programming on La Une with a shocking news bulletin. The Flemish parliament had declared independence from Belgium. This Bye-Bye Belgium broadcast featured interviews with politicians, footage of the royal family's evacuation, and cheering Flemish crowds. Panic spread, especially in French-speaking regions, leading to 2,600 calls to a hotline and crashing the RTBF website. 30 minutes in, an on-screen message revealed it as fiction. Journalist Philippe Dutilleux had orchestrated the hoax over 2 years to highlight the real possibility of Belgium's division amid rising Flemish separatism. In 1996, physicist Alan Sokal submitted a bogus article to Social Text, a cultural studies journal, to test its intellectual rigor. Titled Transgressing the Boundaries Towards a Transformative Hermeneutics of Quantum Gravity. The article was intentionally filled with nonsensical jargon. It proposed that quantum gravity is a social construct, echoing postmodern critics. The journal, lacking peer review, published the article in the Spring-Summer Science Wars issue. 3 weeks later, Sokal revealed the hoax in lingua franca, sparking controversy about academic standards and the influence of postmodernism in the humanities. In 1998, William Boyd published Nat Tate, an American artist 1928 to 1960, a fictional biography of an imaginary artist who supposedly destroyed most of his work before committing. Boyd launched the hoax with the help of influential figures like David Bowie and John Richardson. On March 31, 1998, Bowie hosted a launch party in New York, where excerpts were read and fake quotes were shared. About a week later, journalist David Lister exposed the hoax, revealing that Nat Tate never existed. Despite the prank, few in the art world were truly fooled, recognizing the satire behind the elaborate setup. Between 1978 and 1979, John Samuel Humble, known as Wearside Jack, sent 3 letters and an audio cassette to the police, pretending to be the Yorkshire Ripper. The first letter, dated March 8, 1978, was addressed to Detective George Oldfield, taunting the police with false details. On June 17, 1979, Humble sent a cassette tape in a distinct Wearside accent, misleading the investigation away from the real killer, Peter Scutchfield, who murdered 3 more women during this period. In 2006, DNA evidence from one of Humble's envelopes finally linked him to the hoax, leading to his conviction. On February 25, 1866, miners in Calaveras County, California, claimed to have unearthed a human skull 130 feet underground, beneath a layer of lava. The skull was presented to Josiah Whitney, California's state geologist, as evidence of human existence during the Pliocene epoch. Whitney announced his discovery in July 1866, supporting this theory that humans coexisted with mastodons and mammoths millions of years ago. Doubts emerged in 1869 when reports suggested the skull was planted as a joke. By 1901, further investigations revealed that skull was much younger, likely less than 1,000 years old. Alicia Steve Head, born in Barcelona in 1973, claimed to be a 9/11 survivor under the name Tania Head. She joined the World Trade Center Survivors Network in 2004 and quickly became its president, sharing vivid stories of her supposed escape from the South Tower and her fiancé's death in the North Tower. Head was featured in media and led tours at Ground Zero. In 2007, the New York Times investigated her story, revealing she was in Barcelona during the attacks. Exposed as a fraud, she left New York, and in 2012, a book and documentary detailed her deception. In 2014, 4chan played another prank on iPhone users with the release of iOS 8. They spread a fake feature called eyeball wave, claiming that microwaving your iPhone would recharge its battery quickly. The hoax, complete with a somewhat convincing ad, tricked some users into putting their phones in the microwave, resulting in damaged devices. On the same note, in September 2013, a fake ad claimed iOS 7 made iPhones waterproof by adding a smart switch that shuts off power to protect the device's circuitry. This hoax, originating from 4chan and shared widely on social media, misled users into testing their phones in water. This ad mimicked Apple's style, misleading many into upgrading their iPhones and dunking them in water, leading to damaged devices. Elizabeth Reid Cotton, later known as Lady Ho, claimed in 1915 that she visited Charles Darwin shortly before his death in 1882. She alleged Darwin expressed doubts about his theory of natural selection during this visit. This account, published in August 1915, suggested Darwin was reconsidering his scientific views. Darwin's family and many historians, however, dismissed the story as false. Darwin's son and daughter publicly refuted Lady Hope's claims, citing that Darwin never recanted his scientific beliefs. Despite the controversy, the story persisted in various forms, with some modern creationists promoting it, though it remained widely discredited. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a fabricated text claiming a Jewish plot for global domination, first appeared in Russia in 1903. The document was largely plagiarized from earlier works, including Maurice Joly's 1864 political satire, Hermann Goesche's 1868 novel. The protocols were exposed as fraudulent by the Times in 1921, Frankfurter Zeitung in 1924. Despite this, the text was used by Nazi Germany starting in 1933 to spread anti-Semitic ideology. The document remains available in many languages and is cited by some anti-Semitic groups as genuine, despite its discredited origins and numerous debunkings. In 1967, Leonard C. Lewin's The Report from the Iron Mountain was published as a satire disguised as a leaked government document. The book, claiming to be a study by a special study group on transitioning from a wartime economy to peace, argued that war is essential for social stability. The idea emerged from the editors of Monocle magazine and was supported by economist John Kenneth Galbraith. Despite being a satire, the book caused confusion and controversy, leading some to believe it was genuine. By 1980, it was out of print but resurfaced in various editions, including bootleg versions from Liberty Lobby in the early 1990s. In 1973, David Rosenhan's The Todd experiment revealed flaws in psychiatric diagnosis. Rosenhan, with 8 associates, feigned hallucinations to gain admission to 12 psychiatric hospitals. All were diagnosed with mental illnesses despite acting normally after admission. Their average stay was 19 days, with all but one discharged as schizophrenic in remission. Rosenhan's follow-up involved challenging a renowned hospital to detect imposters. They mistakenly identified 41 out of the 193 patients as fakes. Despite initial acclaim for highlighting diagnostic flaws, later scrutiny questioned the study's accuracy with allegations of data distortion and fabricated pseudo-patients. The surgeon's photo, taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson, was published in the Daily Mail on April 21, 1934, showing a long-necked creature. For decades, this photo was believed to be evidence of Nessie. However, skepticism about its authenticity began to grow. Analysis revealed inconsistencies, and by 1994 it was widely accepted as a hoax. Christian Sporling, with actor M.A. Witteriel, admitted in 1991 that the creature was a toy submarine with a wooden head. This confession explained the photo's dubious features and its misleading portrayal of Nessie. The tourist guy hoax emerged after the September 11 attacks, featuring a digitally altered photo of a man on the World Trade Center observation deck with a plane approaching. The image claiming to show the moment before the attacks. However, inconsistencies soon revealed its falseness. The man wore winter clothes in warm weather, the South Tower observation deck was incorrectly depicted, and the plane in the photo was of a different model and airline. The photo, initially shared as genuine, was actually taken by Peter Goosley in 1997 and edited as a joke. Goosley later confirmed his involvement, disproving the photo's authenticity. The 1997 The mechanical Turk or automaton chess player debuted in 1770, designed by Wolfgang von Kepelen to dazzle Empress Maria Theresa. The Turk appeared to play chess expertly against human opponents and even solved chess puzzles like the Knight's Tour. For 84 years it toured Europe and the Americas, defeating figures such as Napoleon Bonaparte and Benjamin Franklin. However, it was revealed in 1854 that the Turk was a hoax. A skilled chess master was hidden inside, manipulating the machine's moves. The Turk was destroyed by a fire in 1854, and its secrets were disclosed by Kepelen's son, ending the machine's enigmatic legacy. In October 2000, BonsaiKitten.com launched, claiming to show how to mold kittens into jars, mimicking bonsai techniques. Created by MIT student Dr. Mitchell Wong Chiang as a hoax, the site sparked outrage. By December 22, 2000, Cruel.com featured it as Cruel Site of the Day, drawing heavy criticism. Animal rights group condemned it as promoting cruelty, prompting the FBI to investigate. Despite being debunked and removed by MIT, the site continued to circulate, hosted on various servers, including Rotten.com. Petitions and complaints persisted, driven by concerns over its potential to incite real animal abuse. The house hippo, a fictional species, was introduced in a Canadian TV PSA by Concerned Children's Advertisers in May 1999. The PSA showcased the North American house hippo, a tiny creature that slept 16 hours a day and enjoys eating crumbs and raisins. The hippo, depicted through a blend of live action and visual effects, is shown navigating household environments. The PSA aimed to teach children critical thinking about what they see on TV. The original ad, narrated by a wildlife documentary, won a Golden Marble Award. Media Smarts reintroduced a new version in 2019 to emphasize online skepticism. In the 1890s, Leo Taxil, a French writer, orchestrated the Taxil Hoax to satirize both Freemasonry and the Catholic Church's anti-Masonic stance. Pretending to convert to Catholicism in 1884, Taxil authored fictional works detailing sinister Masonic rituals and a demonic inner order called Paladinists. By 1891, he published exaggerated tales of these satanic Freemasons. On April 19, 1897, Taxil revealed his deceptions at a press conference, admitting his fabrications and thanking the church for its role in publicizing his false claims. Despite this confession, the myth of Paladists persisted in popular culture and continued to influence anti-Masonic narratives. On November 19, 2014, Rolling Stone published an article titled "A Rape on Campus", written by Sabrina Erderly, detailing a brutal gang at the University of Virginia, UVA. The story was based on the account of a student, Jackie Coakley, who claimed she was raped by members of the Pi Kappa Psi fraternity. The article generated significant attention, leading to the suspensions of all UVA fraternities. However, as journalists began investigating, discrepancies emerged. By January 2015, Charlottesville police found no evidence supporting the claims. On April 5, 2015, Rolling Stone retracted the article, acknowledging the story was false. In 2012, Emma Sulkowicz alleged Paul Nugesser raped her in her Columbia University dorm room. She filed a complaint in April 2013, but the university found Nugesser not responsible. In May 2014, Sulkowicz reported to the NYPD, but they did not pursue charges. In protest, Sulkowicz created the performance art piece Mattress Performance, Carry That Weight, symbolizing the burden victims carry. Nugesser later filed a Title IX lawsuit against Columbia, accusing them of gender-based harassment by endorsing Sulkowicz's project. The case was dismissed in 2016, then settled confidentially in 2017, with Columbia issuing a statement supporting Nugesser. On April 1, 1980, the BBC's Overseas Service announced that Big Ben would be modernized with a digital readout. The news caused widespread shock and outrage among listeners who couldn't believe the iconic clock's hands would be replaced. As part of the prank, the BBC also claimed the clock hands would be given to the first 4 listeners who called in. The response was overwhelming, with one Japanese seaman even radioing in from the mid-Atlantic, hoping to win a piece of history. Tony Lightly of the Overseas Service later admitted that surprisingly few found the joke funny. In March 2007, illusion designer Dane Beanis posted images online of a dead fairy allegedly found in Derbyshire. The mummified creature with wings, hair and teeth was said to have been examined by experts. Despite the looming April Fool's Day, thousands believed it to be real, generating over 20,000 website hits in one day. On April 1st, Beanis revealed the fairy was a hoax. He then auctioned the model on eBay, selling it for nearly £300. Even after his confession, many continued to believe the fairy was real, bombarding Beanis with emails. In October 2022, French Twitter user Casper Holscher sparked an internet sensation by posting a doctored map showing a fictional country, Listenbourg, attached to the Iberian Peninsula. The joke, mocking American geographic knowledge, quickly went viral. Users across social media began fabricating detailed histories, maps, and cultural elements for Listenbourg. By November, major organizations like the Paris 2024 Olympics and Rainers joined in, with playful tweets and announcements. Even French politicians and brands participated, claiming connections to the imaginary nation. Listenbourg's popularity soared, amassing millions of views and interactions across platforms like Twitter and TikTok. In parapsychology, an apport refers to alleged paranormal transfer or sudden appearance of objects, often during seances. Despite claims no medium has demonstrated an apport under scientific conditions, fraud has been common. In March 1902, Berlin police caught medium Anna Rothe with 157 hidden flowers during a seance. She was arrested and sentenced to 18 months in prison. In 1926, Heinrich Melzer was exposed when stones were found taped behind his ears. Mediums like Charles Bailey and Maria Silbert also faked apports using concealed objects. Apports typically include items like stones, flowers, and even small animals. Borley Rectory, built in 1862 in Essex, became infamous as England's most haunted house after psychic researcher Harry Price investigated it in 1929. Reports of hauntings began with the Bull family, who heard footsteps and saw apparitions like a phantom nun. When Reverend Smith moved in, he discovered a skull, followed by eerie occurrences prompting Price's visit. Price's investigation led to claims of paranormal phenomena, but these were later discredited. In 1939, the rectory was severely damaged by fire and demolished in 1944. After Price's death, the Society for Psychic Research exposed many of the hauntings as fabrications. Victoria Helen Duncan, born on November 25, 1897, in Scotland, was a controversial medium who gained notoriety for producing ectoplasm during seances. Her fame grew in the 1920s, but by 1928, photographer Harvey Metcalfe exposed her fraudulent methods, revealing the ectoplasm as cheesecloth and other materials. In 1933, she was fined for using an undervest to mimic a spirit. Despite repeated exposure, she continued her practices. In 1944, during World War II, Duncan was arrested under the Witchcraft Act of 1735 after claiming to contact the spirit of a sailor from the recently sunken HMS Barham. In 2001, the helicopter shark image spread widely via email, showing a great white shark leaping toward military personnel on a ladder suspended from a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. The email claimed the image was National Geographic's photo of the year and included a caption, "And you think you're having a bad day at work." However, the image was quickly debunked as a hoax. It was composed of two photos, one of a helicopter taken by USAF photographer Lance Chung, and another of a shark by Charles Maxwell in False Bay, South Africa. National Geographic disavowed any connection. Human magnetism refers to the alleged ability of some individuals to attract various objects to their skin, including non-metal materials like glass and plastic. Notable figures include Romania's Aurel Răileanu, known as Mr. Magnet, and Etibar Echev from Georgia, who holds the Guinness World Record for most spoons on a human body. However, scientific investigations reveal that none of these claims align with the principles of magnetism. Skeptic Benjamin Radford found no magnetic fields in these individuals, suggesting instead that friction and sticky skin explain the phenomenon, a theory supported by James Randi's experiment with talc. William H. Mumler, an American spirit photographer, stumbled upon his eerie talent in the early 1860s when a self-portrait revealed the spirit of his deceased cousin. Capitalizing on the grief of those who lost loved ones in the Civil War, Mumler began producing spirit photographs, with his most famous featuring Mary Todd Lincoln and the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. Critics, including P.T. Barnum, accused him of fraud, leading to a trial in 1869. Although acquitted, Mumler's reputation was tarnished. He continued in photography, later discovering the Mumler process for creating photoelectrotype plates. The Pangboche Hand, an artifact from a monastery in Nepal, is said to be a Yeti's hand. According to local legend, Lama Sagwa Dorje collected the hand and scalp from a revered Yeti in the 1950s. Oil businessman Tom Slick learned about the hand in 1957, and in 1959, expedition member Peter Barney stole pieces of it after being denied permission to study it. Barney smuggled the bones out, reportedly replacing them with human bones. In 1960, Sir Edmund Hillary deemed the artifact a hoax. Tests in 2011 confirmed the finger contained human DNA. The original hand was stolen and remains missing. Jeanette Wilson, a New Zealand medium born in the early 1960s, claimed to heal with the help of spirits. After moving from the UK to New Zealand in 1999, she began offering psychic healing sessions involving rituals like hand-waving and humming. Wilson has promoted controversial views, including anti-vaccination and anti-5G claims, and advised against standard medical screenings. In 2020, she announced a political bid against Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, but withdrew shortly after. Her promotion of dubious health supplements and unverified COVID-19 treatments has faced criticism from medical and scientific communities. In October 1999, National Geographic showcased Archaeoraptor, claiming it as the missing link between birds and dinosaurs. Discovered in 1997 in China, the fossil was composed of various species. The head and body were from Janorsis, the tail from Microraptor, and the legs from an unknown creature. The fossil, smuggled into the US and purchased by the Dinosaur Museum in 1998, was initially presented to National Geographic for publication. By early 2000, doubts emerged and an investigation revealed the forgery. National Geographic retracted its claims, and the fossil was returned to China in June 2000. In 1920, Swiss geologist Louis Deluise claimed to have discovered a new primate in Venezuela, later named Deluise's ape. While surveying near the river Tera, Deluise and his team encountered aggressive monkeys. Deluise photographed one before it escaped, and the image later intrigued French anthropologist Georges Montandon. Montandon, convinced the photo showed an unknown species, published finding in 1929, proposing it as a missing link between apes and humans. However, skepticism grew as experts noted the creature resembled a spider monkey, and the supposed new species was widely debunked as a hoax. In 1838, the Grave Creek Stone was allegedly uncovered during an excavation at Grave Creek Mount in West Virginia. This sandstone disc featured 25 inscribed characters which some hoped indicate pre-Columbian writing. The first published account appeared in 1839, but discrepancies emerged regarding the stone's discovery. By 1878, the stone's only known image was in A. H. Davis' collection. Although initially considered a significant find, later analysis revealed that the characters resembled those from an 8th century book on ancient alphabets. This led to widespread belief that the stone was a forgery, with the original now lost and replicas circulating. In the early 2000s, Scottish hip-hop duo Silly Bean and Brains, consisting of David Bain and Billy Boyd, pretended to be American rappers from California to secure a £250,000 record deal with Sony Music UK. They adopted the identities Silly Bean and Brains McLeod and gained attention in London, performing with acts like D12 and appearing on MTV. Their Scottish roots remained hidden until Sony's merger delayed their single release, leading Boyd to return to Scotland. Bain later revealed the hoax, and the story was documented in The Great Hip Hop Hoax, premiering in South by Southwest and shown on BBC channels. In the mid-1990s, Jenkem, a hallucinogen made from fermented human waste, was reported among Zambian youth. Users placed feces and urine in a sealed container, allowing it to ferment and then inhale the gases. In November 2007, a moral panic erupted in the US after reports claimed it was spreading among American teens. However, these reports were soon debunked as a hoax originating from misleading online forums. Investigations revealed that the Jenkem scare was largely based on faulty internet research, with official sources later confirming no substantial evidence of its use in the US. In 2006, three Duke University lacrosse players, David Evans, Colin Finnerty, and Raide Seligman, were falsely accused of raping Crystal Magnum, a part-time stripper. The alleged assault was said to have occurred at a team party on March 13. The case, heavily covered in the media, stirred debates on racism and due process. By April 2007, North California Attorney General Roy Cooper declared the players innocent, criticizing the case as a result of a tragic rush to accuse. Durham County District Attorney Mike Nifford, who mishandled the case, was disbarred and served a brief jail term for misconduct. In October 2008, Ashley Todd, a volunteer for John McCain's presidential campaign, claimed she was attacked by a Barack Obama supporter. Todd alleged that a man had robbed her, carved the letter B into her cheek, and told her to support Obama. The story, just weeks before the election, gained significant media attention. However, by October 24, Todd admitted to fabricating the tale after surveillance footage and a polygraph test contradicted her account. Charged with filing a false police report, Todd entered the probation program and was required to undergo psychiatric counseling. Her previous claims of vandalism were also scrutinized. The Vinland Map, initially believed to be a 5th century artifact showing Norse exploration of North America, surfaced in 1957 when American dealer Lawrence C. Whitten II offered it to Yale University. Acquired with the help of Paul Mellon, it was publicly unveiled in 1965 with a scholarly book claiming its authenticity. Despite initial excitement, doubts emerged quickly. By 1966, the map's similarities to a 1430s Italian map and discrepancies in its Latin script raises concerns. Subsequent tests in the 1970s and 1980s revealed modern ink pigments. By 2018, Yale confirmed it as a 20th century forgery, though it remains in their collection. In August 1973, a boy named Larry reportedly broadcasted distress signals from a CB radio in New Mexico. The initial plea for help, heard on August 7 by Darlene Ross in California, claimed Larry was trapped in an overturned truck. The signal reached as far as Canada due to ionospheric skip. By August 8, New Mexico initiated a major search involving state police, the Civil Air Patrol, and local volunteers. Despite extensive efforts, including aerial and ground searches, no traces of Larry or his purported location was found. On August 12, officials declared the incident a hoax after several contradictory reports emerged. On October 10, 1990, Nayirah, a 15-year-old Kuwaiti girl, testified before the U.S. Congressional Human Rights Caucus. She claimed Iraqi soldiers had removed babies from incubators in Kuwaiti hospitals, leaving them to die. Her testimony was widely broadcast and cited by President George H.W. Bush to build support for military action against Iraq. However, in 1992, it was revealed that Nayirah was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador, and her testimony was part of a PR campaign by Hill and Knowlton, orchestrated to sway public opinion. Subsequent investigation debunked her claims, revealing them as propaganda. Thank you for watching until the end. If you liked this video, maybe try these ones next.